Sacrifice.
With the blood, right?
Incense. Only incense. Oh, blood only once a year, okay, on the Yom Kippur. Here there's incense. See the incense going on?
I think it's upside down.
What's upside down?
I think everything should be facing in the other direction. The ramp
It should be facing this way.
What
do you
mean? It's the other way, no? So then it would need to be on the other side.
Is it alright though that I leave it like this? Can you manage it? So the whole thing is supposed to be facing the east, right?
Yeah,
The whole thing is upside. Sorry, we'll manage here though, and as it is, okay? Turn around your mind. If you have like that right on Google, you could like turn the thing and it turns everything. Listen, okay, that's what we have here. And what do we have in here?
Kodesh.
So what do we have? We have the Aron HaBrit, right? Yeah, the Aron HaBrit. Okay, that's in here. That's what we have, people. This is the Mikdash. All right. Interesting. This is what Hashem says. This is what it looks like, right? If Hashem was here when I asked the question, this is what he would have said, right? This is what I want in my Mikdash. This is what I want in this temple. I want to have a menorah and a shulchan and a mizbeach ktoret and an aron, and I want to have a mizbeach and a kior. That's pretty much what's going on here. In our parsha, by the way, we won't have all these here. In our parsha, we'll talk about the mizbeach, we'll talk about the shulchan, we'll talk about the menorah, we'll talk about the aron. The mizbeach hazahav and the kior, we'll learn about in another parsha. Okay, not here. So, right? I'm not mistaken. If I remember correctly. I told you guys I'm doing this this on the fly here. Yes, I was right. Okay, that's it. Okay, so what's going on here? What is this supposed to portray? What do I feel when I walk in here? What's going on here? What is this Mishkan? What is the feeling? And I'll stop again. It could have been, first of all, this is made out of gold. This is made out of gold. This is made out of gold. This is made out of copper, right? What's going on?
No, nothing.
It's the lighting.
It's copper. This is gold. You know, it's pretty impressive. This thing. It's not so big. Just so you get it, it's like this room is pretty close to the size of parts of the Mishkan. Okay, it's not so big. This is 20 amot. There's 10 meters. For you guys to understand. This is 5 meters and this is 10 meters. All right, 5 meters is pretty much the size of this room, right? Give or take.
Shorter,
from here to
meters,
this is already 10 meters. You think?
Pretty sure.
So add another one of these. Not so impressive. It's true, it's portable. We're talking about 3 million people. They could have made it a little more prettier, a little larger, a little. I mean, it's not so great. I mean, great religions. If you go to big temples, I haven't been there, but I bet some of you guys have been in big temples. They're big temples, okay? They're like massive, huge. Like even the Beit HaMikdash when it was made was nice. It was nice. It was big. It was impressive, but it's not these huge major things. The Mishkan Vadai was not. I'd even say it's sort of homey, and that's a hint already to what I'm going to talk about. Okay, what do we have in the Mikdash? What do we have in the Mishkan? What do we have in the Mishkan? It's very clear. We have lights. Got lights? Got lights. Got a table. Got a table. Air freshener we have.
Coffee cups.
What?
Windows.
Mazgan. We have something that's giving a nice smell in the house. Yeah. Have anyone ever gone to a house that has air freshener in it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, air freshener. Oven you have?
Yes.
Where?
In the kitchen.
Good. You have oven. In olden days times there was never an oven inside. They couldn't have it. It was always outside. Always, okay? Just like now, my mangal, my grill is outside my house. It is not inside my house. My mangal is outside my house. And you have water to drink, to wash your hands, to do the things, right? It's a house. It's a house. That's what it is. What do you have to do in this house? What's this great service of God you have to do in this house?
Eat.
Not much, Haimet. Not much has to be done. You have to bring breakfast and lunch. Okay? I'm not kidding. There's a Tamid Shel Boker and Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim. That's the only sacrifice that has to be brought. You could go through a whole day with those two sacrifices.
Is it an ox?
Breakfast and lunch. What?
What gets sacrificed?
No, it's not an ox. It's a goat. It's a sheep, I think. It's a sheep. You need to have the lights on. The lights always have to be on.
No, we're only in the
At night. When the minute it gets dark, you need to have the lights on. The bread has to always be there. Okay, it says when they switch from week to week. Okay, and inside there's another room that's tsanua, that's broken up with a curtain, and inside is the special place, or I will say the bedroom. Okay, the bedroom that's on the side. The bedroom where there is the becoming one with one another. Okay, in this case, that is the Mishkan. The Mishkan, surprisingly enough, is a house. And I'll say that's all it is, and that's all it is. Okay? It's a house. That's what it's supposed to be. It's a replica of a house. And it's a functioning house. One where there's always someone home. Okay? The lights are always on. The food is always hot. That's why they mention that Chazal say the bread was always hot, and that was a nes, a big nes. The nes is always hot. There's always this nice smell that you bring every morning that goes up. It always smells nice. And there's always a hot meal going on in this house. In other words, it's just a functioning house. That's what's supposed to be happening in the Mishkan. This is what Hashem says. This is my sanctuary. The sanctuary is a house. Okay, I'm going to sit down here. What does that mean to us? What does that mean to us? Now, there were options, right? We said there were options. So Hashem didn't agree with any of you. Okay, what you would do in your house. It's not out. There are no books in here. Okay, there are no books. There is a book. Where's the book? The book is in there, right? The tablets, the luchot are in there. They're in there, but they're sort of closed up. They're hidden. They're not out on the walls. They're hidden. And dafka, what you would see if you would go in here, you'd see kruvim, right? Kruvim over on the kaporet, on the upper side of the aron. But you wouldn't go in there because it's not. You don't go into bedrooms. You don't go into the bedrooms. The bedroom is for the Abba and Ima, right? You don't go in there. It's a different place. But you just see a functioning house. That's what you would see. We'd go in. You'd come to the Beit HaMikdash. Nothing grandiose. Nothing so special. Just a functioning house. Meaning someone's home. That's exactly what you saw. Now, when Chazal say that the lights always have to remain on, they would say, so that everyone knows that somebody's home. That's pretty much what Chazal say. The lights have to stay on. La'id, that Hashem is here. And that was the Mishkan. The Mishkan means shochen, that he dwells. Hashem's here. Once Hashem is here, all kinds of interesting things happen in the world, bichlal. When Hashem is here in the world, starting in his home, there are all kinds of effects that are happening. Because when Hashem's up there, then people feel sort of free to do whatever they want when Hashem's up there. But when Hashem's here, the whole world is affected. It's like when the Baal Habayit's home. You guys were some of you weren't teenagers not that long ago. When Abanim are out of the house, hoppa, there's all kinds of interesting things happen in our house. When they're home, okay, we tread differently. Hashem is home. The world is supposed to be different when Hashem is home. When Hashem is here, Baal Habayit is here in the world. First of all, this is what we're missing when Hashem isn't here. We're missing that Baal Habayit feeling. The whole world is missing the Baal Habayit feeling. That someone's responsible for us, that someone cares about us, that someone's here. I think that one of the major experiences of Hashem dwelling in the temple is that feeling that Hashem is here and caring for us. It's one of the things that I at least hope will happen when we rebuild the temple and Hashem descends again into his house. It's sort of figurative, but it's not exactly figurative. But it is. It's my house, and I'm here. But there's only one side of the equation. Okay, that's only one side of the equation. The other side suddenly reminds us the other thing, and that is, hey, are you a Jew? Your house is supposed to be a temple. The temple isn't something that's way out there, that we just come to his house. Hashem says, my house is like your house. That means your house has to be like my house. That may be the even deeper statement of the fact that the temple is so pashut. Because when the temple is so different than my house, I go to the temple, like, whoa, the huge stained glass windows, everything is so different. It raises the experience that in the temple, I connect to God. In the temple, that's the holy place. When I go back home, that's my place. Bye-bye, God. You wait there, close the gates, you stay there. I go home and continue my life. But here Hashem says, no, my house is like your house. Your house is like we're all talking about houses. But I want you to make your house like a house to God. Therefore, you have to think how I make my house godly. And not just come to the temple and that's where you'll experience God. Hashem says, I'm going to come to you. And that's why it says, Mamash, the Pasuk, almost after Matan Har Sinai, right? It said, B'kol makom asher avoid. What's the word? I'll read the word correctly. Every place that my name will be said, I will come and bless you. In any place that I mention my name, I will come and bless you. It's a strange statement. Every time I say my name, I will come and bless you. Shouldn't be any place that you say my name, I will come and bless you. Because any place, I should say, any place that I say my name, when I'm going to say my name by you too. It's not only you saying my name. Like I say my name in my mikdash, it's my Shem Hashem. Your house also could become that way. It's more than that. It's not in another a mizbeach that you make at home. No, you can't do that once there's a mishkan, right? You can't do that when there's a mishkan. Your house turns into your temple. That's what happens. Not the service part. Your house itself becomes a mikdash. So it's not a beit midrash. No, that's not enough. You need a fully functioning house. With everything, including a bedroom. Everything in your life becomes sanctified to God. Your eating and your sleeping and your daily living, it all becomes a temple. That's what Hashem wants from us. That's why the Mishkan is very simplistic in its mivneh and its build. It's just a house. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to make. And there's one day a week where we really make that very clear. What day do we make that clear? On Shabbat. Because on Shabbat, what do we have? We have chalot, and we have nerot, and we clean our house, and we have a nice meal. And for those who are married, who knows that that's a day when you're also have relations with your wife. As that's what Chazal point out on that day. Because on that day, your house becomes holy. That's the day. Once every 6 days, you have the Mishkan. And therefore, we're not surprised at all to find a very strong relationship between the Mishkan and Shabbat. All hilchot lo taseh, all the malachot that you're not allowed to do on Shabbat are learned from the Mishkan. Because Shabbos and the Mishkan are right, they're kacha. That's the day. Hopefully, throughout the week, we will keep this going, this idea, this concept going, that our house will become a Mishkan. But on Shabbat, that's when we really, really, really play it out. And that's Be'emet what's Shabbat. We're home. You eat food, good food. You're just there, right? What are you supposed to do on Shabbat? Nothing. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It doesn't say much what you are supposed to do. Simu lev on Shabbat, right? You have to say Kiddush. What else do you have to do on Shabbat? You have to rest. That's what you have to do. The korbanot, there's certain korbanot because you have to have a good meal there. You have to add something on Shabbat, not just one meal. The musaf was another offering, right? You have to have extra food on Shabbat, not just like a regular day. Okay, you have your chalot. What else does one have to do on Shabbat? There's a lot of things you can't do on Shabbat. What do you have to do on Shabbat? Nothing. You have to be home and allow the kedusha to permeate your life. Allow it to happen. Stop everything and experience the kedusha that is there, and Hashem says, "I will come to your house and I will bless you." That's what He says. V'talachti b'tochachem. I will walk amongst you. That could happen. What we're trying to do in Shabbat is recreate the Mikdash experience in our homes. Just like when you would come into the Mikdash, what's supposed to happen there? What are you supposed to do when I come to the Mikdash? A regular person, Be'emet, when there's a Mikdash. What are you expecting to happen there when you come there? Now you could bring a sacrifice sometimes. You have to bring a sacrifice sometimes. But if I come on a regular Tuesday in the middle of the week, is there anything for me to do to come to the Mikdash? I don't have a sacrifice to bring. What would I do there? You wouldn't do anything. You're not a Kohen. You're not serving. What are you going to do there?
You daven?
You're going back just to experience the presence of Hashem in the most elemental, pashut way. That's why when I walk into my parents' house, the first thing I do is go open the refrigerator, just because I'm a kid, right? Anyone know this experience? I go open the refrigerator, just because this is my house. And I'm comfortable there, even though I don't live there anymore. I haven't lived there for 23 years or 24 years. It's my parents' house, and I'm comfortable there. You come into the Mikdash, and I'm in Beit Hashem. When David HaMelech says, Shifti beBeit Hashem, kol yemei chayai, what does he say to do there? Lachzot benoam Hashem ulevaker beichelo. To view, see the beauty of God, the pleasure of God, noam Hashem, ulevaker, and to visit in His place. I don't know what I'm going to do there. It's not the issue of what I'm going to do there. It's just to be there. I just want to be in the house of Hashem, because then I feel Him there. He's there, right? It's like, unfortunately, I hope no one's been there, but when chas v'shalom, a parent passes away, right? And then you go through their stuff. I've heard, oh Hashem, I haven't been there, but I've heard, right? Just the feeling of how you miss them so much, how just their presence, right? If I just had another day I wouldn't have to do anything, I wouldn't have to say anything, just for them to be there. When they're missing, then you feel it so powerfully. They're not there anymore. I just want to be there with them. That was the basic feeling of the house. The house is Hashem is here. It's a fully functioning house, and that was the feeling you would have when you would come there. And therefore, that's what we're trying to cause on Shabbos. That's why Shabbos is the basis of Jewish education. It's the basis of Jewish education. It's that understanding that Abba and Ima are here, fully here. They're not working. They're not to work. For our purposes, they're not on their phones or on their computers. They're fully present. That presence is so important in saturating us with understanding and feeling that they're there for us. That's what Hashem is trying to create in the temple. That's what we're trying to create on Shabbat for ourselves and our relationship with Hashem and our family. It's why Shabbat, another reason why Shabbat is so important in Jewish thought. It is so multifaceted in Shabbat. And I'm not talking about Zecher the Briat Olam, right? I'm not even talking about the creation element of this, even though that also is Kashrut and Mishkan in many ways. But just the element of the Mishkan and Shabbat, in that sense, what really is supposed to be is that basic being. I am here with God. So that's what I know. I know it's early, and usually this class goes much more. I'll add something because I have to add something, but I think this is like major to understand in the Mishkan, that you'll meet with as we go on. Okay, I just two footnotes on what I said, and then I want to read you guys a Ramban who's going to give another aspect of this. The first Ramban on this parsha. The fact that I call this the bedroom, I didn't make it up. Okay, it's not even the pasuk. Okay, in a very weird source for the king Yoash, whose family is murdered by his evil, not stepmother, his evil grandmother, named Atalia. It's like a fairy tale. I'm sorry, but the evil grandmother Atalia, she murders the whole kingdom of Yehuda except one kid who gets snuck away. Okay, it's mamash a story, mamash a movie. Okay, the midwife, the nurse, right? Like the nanny, that would be the right word. as they're being murdered in their beds, all the kids of the kings of Judah, she, from Mesirat Nefesh, risks her life, grabs one of these children and runs out of the room. Okay? She brings him to the high priest. And the high priest hides this baby. Where does he hide the baby? It says he hides him in the Mikdash. Then it says, Becheder Hamitot, in the room of the beds. Where is that? We don't know where that is in the Mikdash. Where's Cheder HaMitot?
Isn't it above the?
So what?
Room above or
Well, it could be, but Rashi says there,
Kodesh Kodashim.
Kodesh HaKodashim. So he says Kodesh HaKodashim. It's called Cheder HaMitot. Huh? Kodesh. Why? Because as we know in Judaism, sexual relations are Kodesh Kodashim. They are the holy of holy, and that's the Kruvim. Chazal say, when Am Yisrael were doing Ratzon Hashem, then the Kruvim were holding each other. It was a male Kruv and a female Kruv, and they were holding each other, which emphasizes the love, the real love in all levels, spiritual, physical, the complete and total love of Am Yisrael. This concept that the meaning point of with Hashem is some kind of infusion of connection. That's what's happening. So it wasn't just works well to call this the bedroom. It's called the bedroom, okay, in the Tanakh in that sense. So that was one footnote. And the other, I want to read you guys the Ramban, just so I won't finish too early. I said there. Okay, so I'll read. I have it in English. The Ramban is a very interesting concept of what the Mishkan. Do you guys learn it with Rav?
Rav Lippman, we quote sometimes, but we don't learn it.
Okay, no, I don't know if you did this time. Okay, so the Ramban has a. What was I supposed to put this on? Anyway, so he has an interesting concept of what the Mishkan, what the point of the Mishkan is, and he says it's a continuation of Har Sinai. That be'etzem, what they're doing, the Mishkan, the whole point of the Mishkan is to take Ma'amad Har Sinai and make it continuous. Okay, let me read it. The secret of the tabernacle is that the glory which abode upon Mount Sinai openly should abide upon it in a concealed manner. For just as it said there, and the glory of the eternal abode upon Mount Sinai, and it is further written, behold, the eternal God has shown us his glory and his greatness, so it is written of the tabernacle, and the glory of the eternal filled the tabernacle. Twice is this verse. And the glory of the eternal filled the tabernacle, mentioned in connection with the tabernacle, to correspond with his glory and his greatness. These are Kabbalistic terms. Thus Israel always, listen to this amazing statement, thus Israel always had with them in the tabernacle the glory which appeared to them on Mount Sinai. Be'etzem, they're taking Har Sinai and saying, we're taking that with us. Oh, that was nice. Let's take that with us wherever we go. And when Moshe went into the tabernacle, he would hear the divine utterance being spoken to him in the same way as on Mount Sinai. Thus, just as it said at the giving of the Torah, out of the heaven he made you hear his voice, that he may instruct you, and upon earth he made you see his great fire, so is written the tabernacle. And he heard the voice speaking from above the ark between the Kruvim. The expression speaking unto him is mentioned here twice in order to indicate that which the rabbis have said, that the voice would come from heaven to Moses from right above the ark cover. And from there he spoke to them. And it is this reason that the Kruvim were made out of gold. Why? Because gold, he says, and I'm not going on, he goes on, gold is like fire. The idea of gold is like fire. Silver is one thing, gold is like, shiny, sparkly, yellowish red. It's like fire. The whole concept of the Mishkan is to bring Har Sinai in. In other words, Hashem revealed himself to us. It's not a one-time event. Hashem continues to reveal himself. The speech that began at Har Sinai never ends. Hashem continues to talk to us all the time in the Mishkan. So I was talking more about the presence. The Ramban adds an addition to this and says that it was also the place of meeting and the concept that it never ends. The voice coming from Sinai just moved its place. Now it's coming from the Mishkan and talking to us all the time. To people who would say, oh, Hashem said something to Sinai and that's it. Okay, we're done. Hashem doesn't talk to us anymore. Maybe he talks to a prophet here and there. No. Hashem keeps talking to us. There are other ways. And if I take what the Ramban said and use it to us, if you really want to hear Dvar Hashem, nowadays, where would be the best place to do it? In our house, in your home. That's what I would say. That's, for a Jew, the home is the place. The place. Therefore, the establishment of a good home is pretty much the greatest mission we can have. Okay, that's what I'll say. Shlom Bayit. Happy, a marriage that we have that's chazak and yatziv and yatziv.
Like,
Stable, sound. It's very hard, especially in this day and age. Very hard to do. We have very large, very hard to do. Without going into what's going on out in the world, you guys know better than I do. It's not easy, not easy. It is a mission that just makes a lot of sense to have a stable family, but it's the real way to holiness. It's the real way for godliness. It's the real way to reconstruct the temple. In our homes, that is what is needed. You need a structure that is stable, firm, and welcoming and loving and bringing into our house all the mitzvot and all the connection to God we good, because that's what Hashem says. That's my temple. That's the way it looks. If it looked otherwise, we may say otherwise. And I wouldn't say what I'm saying right now. But now we know that this is the blueprint for godliness. We have that in our house, in our homes. Adkan. בסדר. יופי. בעזרת השם, you like the מקדש.